been close to Finland, but I've actually been in Poland and loved it. And it's a wonderful place, so we're pleased to welcome our second presenter from the University of Silesia in Poland. Welcome, Monika.
Thank you very much. So, how do scholars argue? Basic academic debate, which proceed without interruption and from interruption from parliamentary opponents and or from cross-examination, is the purest form of debate, claims Brian Casey. In my presentation, I will argue that in interactions among scholars, purity is out of question. Just like the idea of pure science proposed by Heisenberg is an illusion, a pure, homogeneous, and simple debate aimed at a clear goal is impossible in scholars' community. I will present how scholars' professional ethos influences their behavior and in what way it is reflected in discourse, which values form academic styles of arguing, and what requirements should cognitive personality meet in order to remain the model work out in the academic tradition. The academic world, ordered in accordance with the rules worked out over the centuries, is a world which is governed by rationalism, noticeable both in the structure of academic activity and in the form of its product. Objectivism, understood as the part of research work from the sphere of desire and lust, as well as from everything that is emotionally marked. Criticism, including not only the acts verifying the legitimacy of the thesis proposed by others, but also, or perhaps first of all, those acts which are self-referential, allowing to falsify one's own analysis and conceptions. Conceptualism, the ability to formulate new theories to show alternative solutions which would help to get closer to the truth, and disobedience in thinking, on the one hand implying resistance to the dogmatism and on the other hand resistance to opportunism. The relations between scholars regulated by these rules make possible the cooperative aspiration to achieve academic progress. The research into the reality, creation of new theories, verification of the power of the explanation of the world they lived in short, these relations make possible the search for the academic truth. As Heisenberg claims, formulating the thesis on the existence of pure science, this innermost domain in which it is possible to separate science from art is perhaps for the modern humanity the place in which the truth meets it halfway, completely pure, no hidden behind any ideology or human desire. End of quote. Certainly, it is the ideal which scholars should strive after. However, the participation in the game in which scientific truth is at stake is seldom completely free from individual plans and ambitions. It is because the motives of academic cognition are not consistent with the ethos of science. Scholars combine the scientific truth game with a game in which their own future is at stake. Obviously, this should not surprise us because scholars' obligations do not only consist of the obligations toward their academic discipline, but also toward themselves. They are obliged to achieve a stable professional position, to earn academic degrees and titles, to gain the trust of their colleagues, and they are to guarantee themselves freedom in academic research. However, unfortunately, it is not so rare the case that one's own future game predominates over the scientific truth game. The latter then loses its cooperative character, and the main aims of the scholar's activity are to win renown, recognition, and power, and to gain access to academic grant and funds. Eiflet Snyder emphasized that, quote, debate is about change. The rules governing debates may differ by but the process is the same. Discussion resolves whether a specific change should occur. End of quote. The identification of the majority of the components of the concept of academic debate is possible only to a certain extent. This is due to both the complex character of academic ethos and different culture-specific styles of communication, as well as the personality of particular scholars. All of this make it impossible to give unequivocal answer to the following questions. How can scholar win the debate? What does it mean to win the debate? Who gives the final judgment? What can be the aim of a debate among scholars? Shortly, what should be changed? In Polish academic practice, there can be found two types of debate. First, debates which are related to the process of earning academic degree, and the second, debates which are not directly related to academic promotion. Debates of the former type occur during the master's of or doctoral defense or the habilitation postdoctoral defense. They can be described as formatted. They follow a clear and fixed procedure. For example, doctoral defense consists of the following stages. The coordinator, the chairperson of doctoral committee, presents the PhD candidate's profile. The first debated, the PhD candidate presents key points of his work or her work. The second debater, the two reviewers, read their reviews of the doctoral dissertation. The first debater replies to the reviews. The second debaters take a stance on the PhD candidate. The coordinator announces the beginning of the secret part of the debate. The doctoral committee deliberations, the members of doctoral committee are debating, assessing the PhD candidate's work and presentation. And finally, the coordinator announces the committee's judgment. The things are complicated by the fact that some of the debaters are also those who assess. Thus, it is not an equal exchange of arguments. Is it at all possible to win such a debate? How to win it? Can PhD candidate consider the debate to be won if he gets the doctoral degree but admitted to having committed some errors? Can the habilitation candidate feel satisfied if defending his thesis he proved his reviewer wrong and as a result he got fewer votes? I do not try to convince you that academic community is bad and does not attach weight to the truth. After all, it is not the case that only compliant interlocutors are positively assessed, and those who dare to disagree do not have a chance to succeed. But it may be quite difficult to win a debate in which one of the parties is at the same time the judge. Since such a debate does not consist in simple invalidating the opponent's thesis. The ideal solutions seem to be argumentation which puts our opponent in the situation in which he may not disagree with us. However, acting in this way, we have to maintain his faith. Even if he been proved wrong, it is vital to stress that what we have presented is only an attempt to deal with the problem or a pilot study, and a final decision is left to the opponent. The next important issue we have to remember taking part in a debate is to adjust argumentation strategies to our opponents. Some of them highly value a candidate's opponent who is able to categorically oppose them, while others expect interlocutor to be compliant. That is why the person who defends his dissertation has to demonstrate intuition in identifying the opponent and invention in formulating the argument. Like a circus performer balancing on a tightrope, he must demonstrate the performance close to artistry, combining the debating, rhetorical, and psychological skills in order to fulfill his own need to prove his thesis and at the same time to satisfy the opponent. The other type of academic debate, the so-called non-promotion debate, is less formatted. To be precise, there is a spectrum ranging from debates held according to a generally determined procedure to debates almost completely devoid of any organization. Formatting is vanishing proportionately to the distance between the debaters. This refers both to the physical distance. Debates in face-to-face situations differ from debates held in academic journal or from those held in social media, for example, Twitter. And in the situation where distance is the distance is related to the discipline diversity. The more distance the discipline, the smaller the common ground and the participants share, and in consequence the debating procedures display a higher degree of slackening. Debates held during academic conferences are coordinated by the chairperson, and scholars are allowed to freely exchange arguments pro and con. That is all as far as formatting is concerned. There is not judge who would pronounce one's participants to be the winner. The only determinant of the success may be the interest expressed by the audience. The more questions addressed to the debater, the more successful he may feel. So it happens that scholars deliberately formulate controversial theses to support their stance. Thanks to that, their chances of impressing the audience and at the same time making them comment and ask questions grow. This reminds me of a marketing strategy described by Jack Freud, differentiate or die. He claimed that one of the best success guarantees in the era of killer competition is stand out from others. Debates between scholars which are least formatted, free from any formal constraints, are debates held beyond face-to-face contact. They are also most emotionally marked, particularly when the exchange referred to a publication of one of the debaters. An analysis of academic debate shows the whole spectrum of emotional behavior. It can be classified according to strategies used, and I have several examples. For example, stressing the differences. The reviewer seemed not to notice that I do not restrict myself to genealogical problems. Instead of thinking what is the subject of a book, the author prefers to take at random particular expressions. Another strategy is manifesting unwillingness to understand the other. Or excluding excluding the other from mutual. It is difficult to me to polemize with Tomasz Majewski because he does not join the discussion about my thesis of my book. He has not noticed some of them at all. He does not discuss even those he noticed. Another example, another strategy, making direct statements unfavorable to the other. For example, but the reviewer puts forward the other implicit reservation. Or Rusinek's commentary to this statement is an absolute misunderstanding and show thoughtless reprehensible for the researcher. Or another, this is a gross example of incompetence. Another strategy, imposing one's own opinion to the other. This way of argumentation proves that Sosnowska has perfectly mastered the art of disputing, this with the use of unfair arguments enumerated by Arthur Schopenhauer in Heuristics. Another strategy, showing no consideration to the other. Anyway, I'm surprised by the professor's mental blank. Or mocking the other. So it is studying Latin that helps somebody master the skill in reading texts thoroughly and analyzing them meticulously. Or making some sarcastic comments. The author, whenever she goes beyond Latin grammar, she starts reasoning less thoroughly. Or making impertinent remarks. The author's thought often impregnates the critics and make him miscarry. It's very, very harsh, yes. Over the years, expressions of emotion in workplace has been seen as unethical. It was assumed that scholars in particular were obliged to suppress their emotions. However, the examples I have presented indicate that emotions are quite frequently and intensely expressed in academic discourse. Efficient debate or efficient communication in general requires that emotions should be properly regulated. The dominant values which determine scholars' behavior during debates, whether it is academic truth or successful career, undoubtedly determine their elocution. But final form of a debate, though, depends on the scholar's personality and the way he manages his emotions. Thank you very much.
We could have a debate among scholars. Those people are rugged. They're tough, right? These are actual quotations.
Yes, from different journals.
In a different venue, if you were writing a newspaper editorial, or you're doing some kind of public opinion, or you're even TV comedy, these would be appropriate? These same kind of comments would be?
No, I think so.
They would not be appropriate? What I'm wondering is, if someone engages in debate with that kinds of statements, don't they undercut their own credibility to where they're not listened to in the argument.
Mhm. But at the same time, they want to fight for their opinion, so they can't just ignore, even if the opponent is impolite or rude.
Is your argument that we should debate academically more civilly, be more civil in our academic debate? Or would that, are you saying there's a better debate, better kind of debate among academics?
I think that we should be better in managing our emotions. So.
Okay. Okay, fair.
Sorry, thank you for your presentation. I've got only one very short question, if you don't mind. Don't you think that, do you see the differences, and if you do, what are they, between academic debates, if we can call them academic debates, because, so I think that in Russia it won't be called debates, but I think that it is just the question of translating, maybe not of the essence of what we are speaking about. If there are differences between academic debates, scholarly debates, right, and just debates, so sorry to say this, as debates, are there differences? Because if we in our ordinary debates use some incorrect things such as you have just demonstrated, I don't think that what kind of correct politically and socially and in different other ways correct strategies should be applied to genuine academic debates. So this is just the question, because all the examples that you have demonstrated, they just actually demonstrate how uncivilized, sorry to say this, the scholars are. If they are such a uncivilized people, so, and they actually debate like this, so can we call these things debates? Because debates presuppose some other rules of debating, otherwise there won't be debates. Sorry. It's a kind of a it might be a kind of a commentary, not just the question.
I think that the notion of a debate is quite large, so we have such debate as we have debaters. So I don't think that if somebody is use unethical instruments, this doesn't make his lack of he isn't a debater. So I'm afraid that especially that the examples I quoted, mostly it was utterances talked or wrote by the professors, very highly estimated, yes, professors. I have an impression that more somebody is higher in the high academic hierarchy, he loses his self-restraint and he let him or her for more. Thank you.
Some of these look like they were book reviews.
Yes.
In a book review, would the argument which draws attention and makes your point and is lively be more appropriate? That if we were talking to each other, we wouldn't say these things. But in that venue, the argument's okay. It's okay to highlight your argument and make it interesting so people will read it and exaggerate to make your point. That might be good argumentation in that venue.
even if we want to attract the attention, I think we shouldn't cross some lines.
But my point is, I'm wondering, are the lines different depending on what you're writing to and who your audience is? And so if I'm talking to you as an academic and we're talking about your work, for me to insult you is not right. But if I'm doing it in a public forum, which calls for, we're drawing public attention to the idea, it may be just fine.
Well, but maybe in more subtle way, if you would. If you would like to criticize me in a public, I would appreciate if you would do it in a more subtle kind way, even to.
Anyone? Thank Monika.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, please.
I'm from Catch Debate, one of the organisers. Just to let you all know that tonight's venue for the dinner has been changed from the Lagoon area to Al Daphne Hall in the Sheraton Hotel. So it's still at the hotel, but it's not outside in the Lagoon area anymore. It's inside in the Al Daphne Hall. Okay? Thank you.